Hi guys, which are the best loan applications in Africa? We all understand financing is quite a headache. More so when people out there are seeking money, for example, for emergencies, seeking money to expand their business, for example, through adding stock, or even seeking money to pay school fee balance which they might be having. So loan applications out here might come in handy when someone wants to get additional financing, which is going to assist them meet their objective. That's why I want to discuss with you which are the best loan applications in Africa. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afagza Sifunam. And by the way, if it is your first time here and you haven't yet, kindly consider subscribing to this channel, because when you subscribe, you're going to be getting daily actionable videos on how you could possibly multiply your money. Having said that, what should someone consider when they're thinking about seeking financing? I think the first and very important thing someone needs to consider is interest rates. What are interest rates? Interest rates are essentially the cost of financing. Out there, whether you're talking about a bank giving you money, right? Whether you're talking about different lenders out there giving you money, whether you're talking about even a friend or a family member giving you money, there is always a cost associated with that particular financing, whether it is a direct cost or even an implied cost. For example, seeking money through banks or even other lenders out there, they charge you an interest, which in essence, it is the cost of that particular financing, right? If you've lended money, for example, to a given family member or you're borrowing from a given family member, there is a cost also, not really direct monetary cost, but the cost of allegiance, right? The cost of loyalty, the cost of you being able to assist each other in future. So with regards to banks and other financial institutions out there, and even other mobile lenders out there, interest rates, of course, greatly varies. But the fact is that the interest rates of commercial banks are much lower compared to the interest rate of different money mobile applications out there, which are not backed by any bank. Having said that, you need to understand that in case you want to lend money, for example, through an application, it is more solid for you to consider bank applications first, as opposed to other applications, for example, backed by venture capitalists, backed by Sherlocks out there, because the cost of banks are much lower, depending on the country you live in. And by the way, talking about mobile loan applications out there having interest rates of somewhere between 5% to even upwards of 60%. And of course, on the higher side of these interest rates, it is those mobile applications which are backed by venture capitalists, right? And then the second consideration which you need to have in mind is the repayment time. What do I mean? After you borrow this money, you are required to repay that particular loan you've taken after how long? That is the repayment time. And of course, repayment times out there also vary from one application to another. But most of the times, it is somewhere between 1 week to even upwards of 2 months. So, depending on what your interest is, you're going to know which application to go with. In case you're going to have cash inflows in the near future, then it will be prudent for you, for example, to go for applications which have a shorter repayment time. But in case you're sure, for example, going to have maybe inflows after a month or so, it will be prudent for you, for example, to go for those applications which also have a longer repayment time. But it is a cost-benefit analysis, because most of the times, assuming an application is in the same kind of backing financing, for example, banking financing or whichever other financing there, most of the times, the earlier you repay, the lower is going to be the interest rate. The longer you take, the higher your interest rate is going to be. So do the cost-benefit analysis, but also be very certain in regards to how your future cash inflows are going to be, so that you decide which repayment time to go with. And associated with that, the third consideration you need to have in mind is what are your future cash inflows? Because at the end of the day, you need money to repay these loans. So how much are you expecting for your future cash inflows? And even so, of this, how much are you going to be able to set aside, for example, to honor your loan obligation? So be keen with regards to what your future cash inflows are, what your expenses are, so that you also know very well which amount of money are you going to be able to set aside to honor your obligations. And if you are keen on that, be rest assured you're going to honor your obligations without much hassle. And then a fourth consideration as you're seeking to get loan from loan applications out there in Africa is your privacy. We've seen cases in multiple countries whereby loan applications or people backing these different loan applications out there violate citizen privacies, right? And all this depends also in the policies and laws of a country. So you need to be keen with regards to whether the information you share is going to be kept private, or even they're going to use that information, for example, to harass you. They're going to use that information, for example, to harass your family. Be keen on that so that you know which credible applications to go with, right? And then the last and most important key pointer which you need to know is also be clear with regards to what purpose are you seeking financing for. Most of the times, there is a good number of people out there who seek loan financing for frivolous purposes out there. For example, it will be quite wrong, for example, for you to seek loan financing so that you indulge in maybe consuming alcohol, right? But it is okay for you, for example, to seek loan financing so as to add stock to your business, because you know this stock you've added is going to be able to repay this loan over time. Having said that, what are the best loan applications in the continent of Africa? In my opinion, these are the three best applications in the continent of Africa. The very first one is Tala Mobile. The second one is Branch International Financing. And then the third one is any financing application out there which is backed by a bank or even a telecommunication company. And I'm saying so because these kind of financings are the ones which actually tick all the boxes I've talked about. They have efficient interest rates, they don't harass their customers when time is due, and also their repayment times are quite reasonable. So I think, in my personal experience, these are the three best loan applications in the continent of Africa. You, according to your experience, which are the best loan applications in the continent of Africa? Drop a comment down below. Let's continue discussing there. But I think these are the three best loan applications in the continent of Africa. Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to share with you other awesome, insightful videos next time. Bye-bye, and you all stay safe.